This is a short lesson on notation for limits. Example, we may say, what's the limit as x approaches 0 plus of the function x squared plus 2x plus 1. The question is, what does this part mean? Sometimes we may write x approaches 0 from minus, x approaches 3 from plus, x approaches minus 2 from minus. What does it all mean? When I say x approaches 0 from minus, what I mean is that x, this is 0, x would be here, and x is approaching 0 from the lesser sum. So x is approaching 0 from here. So x could be 0.5, and then x could be x1, x2 could be 0.4, x3 could be 0.3, and so on. X100 could be 0.000012. It gets closer and closer and closer to 0 from the negative side, from the left side. This is the negative side, this is the positive side. If I were to say x approaches 0 from positive side, I would be picking this point and then moving closer. How about x approaches how about x approaches 3 from the positive side? Let's have a look on the next page. X approaches 3 from the positive side would look like this. Zero, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This would be 3 plus 3. X would be approaching plus 3 from the positive side. Means that x would be here and coming in towards 3 until it reaches 3. So x could be 3.61, and then the next, as it gets closer, it'll be 3.40, 3.1, 3.001, 3.00015. It gets closer and closer and approaches 3, but from the positive side. X approaches 3 from the positive side. Another example would be x approaches -2 from the negative side. Zero, 1, 2, -2 from the negative side means x would be here and approaching -2 from the negative. This is x, and it approaches 2. Approaches 2 does not mean it gets to 2, it just gets closer and closer to 2. So x might be looking like this, -2.5, and then it gets closer and closer and closer, -2.1, -2.00021, -2.00003, 1, 2. It just gets closer and closer, but never touches, never becomes -2.2, -2. Sometimes we may have a curve in calculus that looks like this. And this is a point. Six plus 6 on the curve. Let's say the curve, let's call the curve f of x. So I can say, try to find out the limit of f of x as x approaches 6 from the positive, plus 6 from the positive. I don't have to, when it's positive, I don't have to write positive, so I can actually just write its equivalent. Limit of x approaches 6 from the positive, f of x. So x would be here, a little bit bigger than 6. And it will approach 6 from the positive when it's 6.5, 6.4, 6.3, 6.2. I can also say that another situation may occur whereby x approaches 6 from the negative of the function f of x. That would mean x is here and approaches 6 towards this direction. So x would be 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, 5.9, 5.999, 5.99912, etc. It can get closer and closer, but never touches 6. In the same way, x here would be a little bit bigger than 6. It will be 6.1, 6.01, 6.0002, 6.000031, 6.000005, or maybe another 05. So it keeps on going and approaches 6, but from a larger value. Here, x approaches 6 minus means x approaches 6 from a smaller value. 5.6 is smaller than 6. 5.99992 is smaller than 6. So we have, in summary, we have the two notation. X approaches any number, whether the number is positive or negative or 0, and x will approach the number either from the negative, which means from a smaller value going towards it, or x can approach the same number from a larger value going towards it in this direction. Larger value would, the notation would be x approaches 3 plus. As from a smaller value, it would be x approaches minus 2 minus. And x gets closer and closer from the negative value, and x gets closer and closer from the positive value. Here's another example, page 2. X approaches 3 plus, so x comes in from larger than 3. From a smaller value, x approaches this number from a smaller value. And the number itself is a constant, and it could be a negative, or positive, or a 0. And this is very useful this notation is very useful for limits in calculus, where we write x approaches certain number either from the positive or from the negative side. If x approaches the number from the positive, it would be x approaches 6 plus. If x approaches the number 6 from the negative, we will write it as x approaches 6 minus. Thank you. See you next lesson.